What's going on, everybody? This is Nick Lawson and Ken Marshall, and this is your sports sponsorship tip of the week. All right, so this week, as I brought in Brandon on the last episode to do community, I'm bringing in Ken over here to talk about search. Ken Marshall is the CEO of Doorbell
Digital marketing.
Doorbell Digital Marketing. He's a master in search, have learned a ton about search, which, a lot of people kind of vilify it as a costly way kind of to get leads.
Doesn't work for B2B.
Doesn't work for B2B. But, I've seen him work. He's actually even done some work with us at Squad. And I think it's massively important at least to know how it can help us in sponsorship. High level, but then you can do some more research and understand, again, it's just a tool for people to use. So I'll kick it over to you, Ken. High level, why is search sort of important as businesses are trying to maybe grab the attention of other businesses or customers?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the first and foremost, the thing to understand is that this is not, it's not just a segmentation of young people and old people, or B2B, P2C, or, business to consumer. Like, it is the third, I think, highest ROI channel, content marketing and inbound, other than word of mouth and email. So over time, you're going to make the highest ROI, but everyone's using it. So even if the CEO, or you think CMOs or CEOs aren't on there searching, you're probably right, but they have an assistant. They've hired a team to go do research and curate their vendors that they're then going to hand to the CMO and the CEO, and you better be on that list of searches when it comes up. So the intent of the user is also the third most important thing. When people are coming to you, instead of you having to cold call them or email them something, they're pre-qualifying themselves. They're saying, I already have this need. Can I give you my money?
Yep. And that's a big thing for us at Squad. I won't give the exact terms just because I don't want to give any secret sauce for us out there. But I thought one term was how people searched for our products, and the actual most volume was a totally different term when searching for help with our products. So it's really key to understand what they're looking for, and then I think you're totally right. How can you reach them? They're your prime customers. They're your lower funnel customers. For us in sports sponsorship, again, pretty high level, just because obviously you can get nitty gritty on this and spend an hour talking about this. But what would, high level, what would be your best, advice for anybody getting started within search to be able to go get brands as customers, or to maybe even just understand how they're searching for things and what they are looking for within our packages and sponsorship?
And I mean, so as far as package building goes, I think the simplest thing where we always start is through a simple competitive gap analysis. If you're not familiar, that's just legitimately finding out who's doing what you're doing and winning, extracting sort of the common denominator of why they're winning, and doing the same thing but better. Right? So if you're thinking about packages, the first thing I would do is legitimately just get on search, get on Google, and type in best sponsorship activations of 2020. Sort of extract, what are they doing? What did Coca-Cola do digitally? If you're not on digital, get on digital. Shout out to Squad. But what did Coca-Cola do? What did Zappos do? How did the UFC engage their fans? And if you build packages around that, guess where you're getting the validation of customer demand? They're telling you in search. So start off by just searching for those activation types, those sponsorship types, and extract that to build your packages. The second thing I would say, and we'll get into tools that you can use maybe a little later, but using tools, you can search for these. You can see what kind of language, like Nick said, if you think your customers are talking this one way, you'll sell them incorrectly because you won't match their expectations, and you'll also go after the wrong folks. And especially in inbound, if you target people that are searching for things you don't even have on your site, you're going to lose. So just understand the verbiage that people are using. Are they talking about in-stadium things? Are they talking about digital activations, sponsorships, activations? What language do they use? Because then you can sell better and you can put up the right kind of content for your strategy. And I would say the last thing is search for sort of people who are similar in your industry. So if people are looking for football sponsorship or like the Browns, they're out here working with Squad, you guys need to understand what is that what is that they're doing who are going after the similar types of sponsors that you want, and what are they providing them?
Yep.
So go after similar competitors, just exactly what sponsors they have, go after those, use the same type of verbiage, and then understand what types of sponsorship packages you should have with a search landscape.
What's crazy is you just brought an idea into my mind. I talk a lot about how Facebook ads are a competitor to us. Imagine if you understood what people in your local area, let's say Houston, Texas, are searching for digital advertising help. And instead of being the studio, digital marketing, all of those top ones, your sports team is at the top because you've done the right search thing. And then immediately it's like, oh, I didn't know that this team did any digital stuff. The amount of traffic you're going to get in just because it's different, right?
Yeah.
Those first 4 may all be, digital marketing studios, but you're like, oh my God, the Portland Winterhawks, they do digital.
Yep.
I never even considered that. So I think that's like finding those places where you can insert yourself and be different. Even if it's direct competitor as in another team, or even direct competitor of as a substitute on that side.
Because the user doesn't care.
No.
The user has an end need. So the product or service, it's like Instagram ads, companies are competitors to us, even though we do search, because they want an ROI, they want a return on their dollar. The methodology is different. So like Nick said, the user might just want that experience, or they might want that product, but you as the brand can capture it rather than a digital agency if you position yourself correctly. We're not going to tell you those secrets right now, but that's exactly right. It's what does the user want? How can we get in front of them?
So what are you talked about tools. What are the tools that, teams can start dipping their toes in, getting a little bit associated with? Obviously, people like you have an expertise, and getting crazy nitty gritty is going to take some expertise to go in on. But, if they're trying to say like, hey, can I even see if, Houston digital advertising is being searched for? Are there any tools that they can use? Things like that.
I mean, honestly, the best tool to understand like what the landscape is for search is just using Google. So start out with like a few what we call seed terms to start out with that come to mind. Your intuition's probably correct, like your industry. So we want to know about, marketing in a hockey arena. Just type in hockey, hockey arena sponsorships. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, Google will have those suggested terms. It's a little known fact that those are the things they've curated that people are searching for the most. So you won't get volume numbers and you won't get competitive metrics, but if you just type in your term and go down to the bottom, you'll see these are the topics that are being searched
people
the
are
most.
Actually searching for.
That are getting people to convert, or have the most customer interest. So just use your common sense and that as a starting point. Like I said, if you have questions about the best sponsorship types, just type in best sponsorships 2020. What are people doing in sponsorship right now? Read the articles and just extract that to get an understanding. As far as actual tools go, there's a tool called keywordtool.io. I don't know if Nick can throw this up somewhere.
It'll go in the post.
And that, I mean, it's one of the few like really awesome freemium model. So there's a paid tier, but you don't need it to start. And you can type in any keyword and you can see how many people are searching it monthly, how hard it would be to rank if you want to start building some content out of it, using it for your marketing, and then how much it would cost to acquire that traffic if you wanted to pay for it. And that's where search becomes so cool, because we can say we can get this traffic for free through building content, or it would cost $300. If you've got the bank, go for it. But if you have time and you want to get that for free.
But even that research, what that'll tell you is nobody's paying for this, but it's getting a ton of volume.
Bingo.
And I can actually pay way less to get that or even it's like I can pay way less to get this medium volume thing, or I can pay extremely less to get 5 small volume things and destroy on that, instead of going head to head with a marketing agency that's spending $300 CPA on that side. So I think that's where research really helps you, is these sort of tools are great for finding where can I pay the least amount to get who I need to get and really build that up.
I mean, what would 100 people coming to you asking about sponsorship opportunities do? That's nothing in terms of search volume. No. But for you, what would that do for your business, right?
Crazy. Especially locally.
Locally.
The crazy thing is you can go local to your city. And just
to your neighborhood.
Right.
I see neighborhood searches, it's called hyper-localization It's real, and we have to be on the lookout for
Like
that.
literally, if you wanted to go get a car dealership, and it's like, hey, I can never get a car dealership. You could just be attacking searches of car dealership marketing. Go and find that key term that's getting medium volume that these digital marketing agencies aren't going after, and then just deploying a little bit of that capital. You might pay $300 for that inbound. That's a $250,000 deal if you play it right? And that's what I love.
Your acquisition cost.
And that's what I love about this for sponsorship is because will this work for ticketing? You'd have to get a lot of volume in tickets to be able to sell. So that's why I like social ads for ticketing a little bit more, because your cost per click can be like 30 cents or even 5 cents if you play it right. But a sponsorship could be a $50,000 sponsorship in, correct me if I'm wrong, but paying $300 cost per acquisition is not an insane amount on search.
As long as you know your cash flow and your cost per acquisition, if you've got the room for it, a couple $100. You're looking pretty good. And the last tool I will say, and this is one of my favorite free tools. It's called Answer the Public.
Okay.
It's a company that took all of those Google searches, the suggested ones that I just talked about, and they built an algorithm that combines those. So if you type in sponsorship ideas, it'll give you all of the most searched questions that your consumer has in one place. And now guess what? You know what objections to have on a sales call. You know what type of content to market. You know what industries they're looking for. What teams have used what types of sponsors. And all that is just knowledge that you can use.
And it's free.
And it's absolutely free.
It's out there and free.
Absolutely.
And even if you wanted to just get into content, or like you said, you get on a discovery call, you know what people in that area are searching for. Like I would imagine, is sports sponsorship worth it, right?
Exactly.
That's got to be a high searched thing by people within your area. If you created just a one pager of content of here's the 10 reasons why sports sponsorship is worth it, give or take a little magic on the keywords there to make sure it's inbounding, and posted that, that one piece of content is going to do better than 100 people cold calling, because they're like, wow, you already know what I'm thinking. You already understand me, as opposed to, why don't you want to do sponsorship, right? And you can just scalably reach 100 people instead of cold calling 300. Not to downgrade cold calling, but this just gives you more information for exactly like we talked about earlier, lower funnel, what people are searching for.
And I mean, say somebody is the reverse. They're a sponsor looking for opportunities. If you know how to position yourself for that sponsor, or you know how to position yourself, like you're around a bunch of old heads and they're doing things the same way and they're the same type of brand as you, then just say to yourself, like, what are they doing? How can I be different? Or we're not doing what everybody else is doing that's working. But either way, you win because you have the leverage, because you have the knowledge. So, man.
That's awesome. So, for all you sponsorship people out there, this has been one of our longer tip of the weeks, but a lot of good knowledge. That's why I want to bring Ken in here. It's a tool that you all can use. You can obviously dive a lot deeper into exactly the tactics to use to pull your search rank up, but I think just even getting understanding of this can be a way that we can go get customers on search. A lot of this stuff is free. I think that's key. So thanks so much, Ken. Really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, keep pushing those limits within sports sponsorship.
Cheers.